What's up, guys? Mr. Knows Books back today with another video. And today we are talking about the Hero of Ages. It is finally done, the Mistborn trilogy. It's actually been done for a little bit now for me, but been busy, struggled to record, but now we're here. Spoiler-free section. This is again going to be very brief. Rainer, I swear to God, if you comment about how long this video is, even though the spoiler-free rating is short, we're gonna have a problem. I think this is the best book of the trilogy. I do think it is a competition between this and the first book. With Well of Ascension comfortably third, but I think this book from beginning to end is one of the most actually consistent Sanderson experiences that I've read. And I've read all of Stormlight, and I've read this entire trilogy. And I think from open to close, this book is extremely well paced, does a great job of not trying to leave everything for the very end, and we get some very satisfying stuff. I was a little upset with a certain character and their involvement or lack thereof somewhat in the story, but we will get into that in the spoiler section. Easy 5 out of 5. Again, I don't think Well of Ascension is that bad. I think it's still a great book as a whole, and we get a lot of great payoff in this novel, to this trilogy, in this world, that I just can't wait to explore this next series, I guess, because it's not a trilogy. But yeah, guys, to wrap it up nice and simple, for those of you that somehow haven't read it but are watching a book 3 video, well, I appreciate you watching. And to everybody, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think of this trilogy, of this series. Should I go right into the next one? We'll find out. And as always, we are about to have the fun of the show, which is my reactions. So in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, let's have some fun, people.
All right, guys. We are back with vlog 1 for the Hero of Ages. We are finishing, I guess it'll be the first series / trilogy we finish on this channel, so that'll be a lot of fun. And I am already just so, this is actually, I'd say, my second favorite opening to a Sanderson book other than Way of Kings. Way of Kings prologue alone is just, come on, man. Come on, man. But we're already getting really interesting stuff. This will not be Vin's book, I don't think. I really want it to be, because she's been our main protagonist for 3 books, and I want this book to feel like it's hers. But they're spending a lot of time on Sazed and his internal dilemma, which I think is pretty interesting, because you could argue, right, you're 1,000+ years old, how do you not have, this grasp? But, for most of his life, I guess all of it, until recently, the Lord Ruler was running this, dictatorship. So for the longest time, his purpose was to take that down. So with a lot of religions in general, right, they're usually created or, are relied upon on in times of oppression. So, for Sazed, it's so easy to go, oh yeah, this is for the cause. But now that ended. Tyndall died. See, I'm trying the pronunciations. I think we're getting there. And right, those causes aren't really there. So then it makes him question it, which is really interesting, because I think we as humans who have been religious at one point in our lives, have gone through struggle and then question it, can relate to this a lot, I think, personally. So for me, I'm this is really pretty good so far. And then, oh man, Tensoon, bro. My boy was cooking in the court. But yeah, he's going to get out of there. I just don't know how. And then, okay, Sanderson. I'm going to be real, bro. You got to get in your Kyrie Irving bag. You've got to get in your Duffy to make me really care about Marsh. Because I think he's been so underutilized so far in this trilogy that him kind of being our, guide on Ruin and everything is cool. But it's why do I care about this struggle? Really? Because, again, he's barely in book 1. He's in book 2 even less. And, I mean, this is the most he's been featured. And it's book 3. So, that's my only, quote-unquote negative. I'll end. My glorious king is really acting like a ruler. He is doing his fucking thing. He's willing to make those hard calls. And I am here for it. I don't think this is going to be Vin's book, guys. I really fucking want it to be, but I don't think it's going to be. But we finished part 1. And, again, easiest, fastest start I've had to a Sanderson book, aside from when I first got into reading with Way Kings. But so far, I like what we're establishing. I like, though, we immediately also challenged the way that Bree seems so positive after everything, and it's like Vin does a really good job pointing out like he's overcompensating. I do like that Vin has matured a lot, and maybe that in that way is how this is her book. Now she can be the one that helps others and guides others versus always being the one that's, being guided. That I think could be a really powerful thing. So really, really good start, strong start for this book. So I've got a feeling we're only going up from here, fellas. So have a good one, and I'll see you in the next vlog. Peace. All right, guys. Vlog number 2. I am about 170 pages in, so about 30-ish%. And man, this is like a very good like ensemble book. I know I was complaining probably towards the end of the last one about how like I wanted this to feel like it was Vin's book, because book 1 still feels like it was Kelsier's book, and book 2 is definitely Ellen's book. And I wanted Vin to feel like this was her book. But guys, the ensemble stuff has been awesome. So we got Spook. I think he's literally our start off point for part 2. And it's been nothing short of phenomenal. Like, seeing his quest for worth and seeing that in relation to someone like Sazed, and how those two kind of mirror each other in different ways. Like, Spook is looking for worth from self, and Sazed is looking for worth, like, or purpose, or I guess, like, justification from an external power, which is really interesting. So is Kelsey just Alan or Jesus? This dude goes, all right, Spook, listen up, buddy. You can burn pewter now, Holmes. You're welcome. Now go live. What? Brother, what? That shit was nuts. And then my boy Tensoon, we out of this bitch, bruh. We don't care about these damn conjure, weak ass, punk ass, bitch ass. Ooh, we need to... Man, shut up. Goofy. Guys, this book, I've got a feeling shit's gonna get crazy. Also, I think a really interesting dilemma Ellen's having here is like, where will he draw the line before he becomes like the Lord Emperor or whatever? But I don't know. I think when you're pushed to something like drastic measures, it's not always a fair assessment of a person compared to them on a day-to-day. But who knows? But guys, this book we're cooking. We are cooking. So I'll see y'all in the next vlog. Peace. Guys, I am 270 pages into The Hero of Ages, and I am loving it. I think, first of all, again, this is really turning out to be... Marsh had some aura. Alright, this is very scramble-brained. But Marsh had aura. When he went into that mansion, he just started murdering all these people. He's just like, yeah, I was like, fuck! He's so damn cool. Just absolutely mercilessly just destroying these people. I feel terrible for saying that, but like, it is what it is. I don't make the rules, man. And it's curious too, because now there's like a conversation to be had about, like how much of this agency and free will does, he have versus like not. Like, how much of this is Marsh versus how much of this is Ruin? And does he really have a choice at the end of the day? Spook, okay. I am actually really enjoying the Spook stuff because I think, again, it's like, it's so cool how in each of these books a character is empowered. And some of it is through the obvious, like, acquiring of, obviously, like, new powers. But a lot of it is through, like, the value of self. And, like, how do we do that in a healthy way? Which I think is, like, I think kind of the feeling like it's the core message of like this trilogy. Says it. Shout out to you, Jen. I think we finally got it down. Says is just a sad man. I relate so hard. I want to give my boy a hug. And him getting the picture from Vin. Oh, and then Tensoon getting the blessings. Like, go for my girl. We're so back. And then Elend and Vin finally like having that dance after 3 books of like not being able to really. So good. I will say I do think the citizen and stuff is kind of like eh. That's I guess my one of my only negatives right now is like I don't really care about this little mini city siege we got to do, but the Colossus reveal or the Colossus, fucking awesome. That they were humans, and the third type of power or whatever that like seizes the soul of preservation from them. Oh, so interesting. So then we gotta talk about something before I go. I have an official Emster theory. So again, I'm 270 pages in. I think Sazed's going to be the hero of ages. Because, okay. Unless these epigraphs are false, but that'd be weird. And clearly, for the first time, this is written from the future perspective. It's like, okay, well, the Elen stuff happened. Well, Elen's not going to refer to himself third person, so it's not him. They're talking way too, like, analytical for, like, a Vin. And, I mean, okay. If Sanderson could pull something out of his butt here and have it be Marsh and have him be that, like, equilibrium between, I forgot what it's called, perseverance or whatever it is, and ruin, but I'm like, there's no way. So I think Sazed is the hero of ages, which that's kind of tough. Because again, it just makes what Vin is doing so much more like, I don't know, like more powerful because she's doing it out of like this genuine feeling of duty to others. And not because she's like destined to or has to, like. I think that's really cool. So we're on vlog like 3, I think now, or 2. I don't know, but I appreciate you guys for listening to the rambles. We'll see how much progress I make tomorrow. So, as always, guys, it's so much fun. Peace. Holy crap, guys! So I'm about 350-ish pages into the Hero of Ages. And now we're getting into some crazy shit. And what I mean by that is, now we're figuring out that, like, ruin can influence you through the spikes. And the spikes are also responsible for the creation of the Colossus. Or Colossus, whatever. So now I'm like, okay. Is ruin influencing Spook? Like, and then. Okay, so we do this whole, infiltration. My glorious king. Elend and Vin go in. Vin is trapped. Her punk ass, bitch ass, loser ass brother shows up. And then there's Ruin's voice. And then I'm like, what? But then I was like, hold on. Think, Emster, think. And that's when it clicked. dude, ruin had to be ringing because I'm telling you, the earring is going to be something important. It's going to be important. I think preservation is in that earring. And I think that it has protected Vin for however long. Oh my gosh. The spook stuff's actually really fucking good. Like, and then Breeze and Sazed, like, having these conversations and challenging each other, as peers, as men, I think is really important. Just because, again, I think it's also, in some ways, I don't know, it's just something I think is, obviously myself being a man, like, I think we've all had those sort of moments of faith being rocked, and we've needed somebody who can come in and be like, dude, let's just bring it down and talk it through and figure it out. And that's exactly what they did. And, like, in some ways, obviously, I don't think these problems are done for these characters yet, but yeah. Sazed, by the way, is for sure going to be the hero. Oh my gosh. This book is so good. And, like, I think of the 3 going into the Sandor Lanch, I'm at about 60%, so I probably got a little bit more before quite in the Sandor Lanch. I think it's probably my favorite one. Pretty convincingly, too. But I'm enjoying, guys, I'm loving this book. So this is reading vlog number 3. As always, guys, appreciate you. On to the next one. I finished it. That, I'm like so sad. I actually am. I don't what the fuck. Like, I just can't believe, like, wow. So Vin became preservation, and Ellen died. Bro, this book was, so fucking much happened. I knew Sazed was gonna be the hero of ages, but like that? I damn near feel like I'm about to cry. I am in shock. Like, there's so many sad things too about this book when you really stop and think about it. Like, Tensu never really getting to see Vin again. And oh my gosh. Spook's never seen Vin since, I don't think, the wow. And now my boy Spook is a Mistborn. And the world is kind of like Earth now, and so could say that bring them back. Maybe. Come on. Come on. That was actually fucking excellent. Like, that's how you put the bow on it. I was so close about the fucking earring. I was so close. It was the other way around. Oh, fuck, I had it so close. Because I was like, okay, one of the gods had to have put this in there to keep the other one out. But it was the other way around. Anything with metal injected in it. And, like, Marsh having that moment of not giving up. Fuck. That was, like, a mind fuck of a Sanderson ending. Just because, like, literally damn near no one of the OG crew survived. Wow. I hope you all enjoy the spoiler review, because right now my thoughts are in a fucking mess. But that book was fucking excellent. Have a good one, guys. Peace.
And we're back. And now I can kind of talk about everything I want to talk about. So I want to get into my nitpicks and gripes sort of off the rip. I don't like Vin being relatively captured for 95% of this novel. Because the very beginning, it's incredible. Her and Elen going through, fighting these Colossus, dealing with this world and these problems together, truly as a couple and as a unit, I think is incredible. And then she ends up locked up for most of the book. And I've talked about it in my previous reactions, and now, with the trilogy over with, I am a little disappointed with how Vin has been used. To put it frankly, this reminds me a lot of Goku in Dragon Ball Z specifically. If you haven't watched it, I don't know what the hell you're doing. Watch it. Do it. Spoilers, I guess. But basically, for the first 2 to 3 arcs, a vast majority of it is Goku is taken out relatively early in the story, right? Well, in Vin's case, in book 1, that's not necessarily the case, but book 2, she ends up with this whole melodrama bullshit with Zane. It's still fuck Zane, by the way. And then book 3, she gets captured early on. Then, while Goku's away, / while Vin's away, everything around them and their friends and family are going to absolute shit. It's falling apart. And at the last moment, when it looks like the shit is just going to be insurmountable, Goku / Vin shows up. And the entire scales go the whole opposite direction. And the good guys will win with some sacrifices along the way. And to me, I feel like that's unfair to both characters. Goku's a little bit different, again, if you understand within the context of the series, but still. Especially with Vin, I feel like for how important Sanderson made her to preservation and to ruin, and for so many of these books to almost basically be the muscle / equalizer in every one, except for maybe Mistborn book 1. It felt just very unfair to her. Because we get this stuff with Spook in book 3, which, by the way, that is not a complaint. That is fucking remarkable stuff from Sanderson. But again, I'm just like, but then where is this with Vin? Because book 1, it's about her trusting others. Okay, cool. Book 2, it's about, knowing what she really wants and going with that. Incredible. Fantastic. I don't really think there's like a arc or progression in this book. And it feels just sort of like Vin is like still just stagnant. And there's nothing wrong with her being stagnant per se, but it sucks when her development is stagnant and her actual place in the story until, again, the last quarter is stagnant. Right? Because she starts off kicking ass, ends up in prison, can't do anything for the most of the book. Then comes out and is kicking ass. And it's just like, again, it's fantastic. And I know you guys might be thinking, wow, I'm sorry, you give this a 5 out of 5. How do you? Because again, it's more so an overall trilogy gripe than it is just about this book. And Vin was still fucking awesome. And Spook was spectacular. But I do have one other, flaw, I guess, with this trilogy. And it's actually with Breeze. And the reason I say that is Breeze is a previous MIP winner in this channel. And it did a really interesting job because in the first quarter, you go, okay, Sazed is having this collapse of faith, and Breeze is acting fake happy or fake enthusiastic and optimistic, and he's basically overcompensating for his problems. If only we got anything about that more. It doesn't really feel like we ever do. It kind of just feels like Breeze just naturally ends up chilling the fuck out. And I'm kind of like, I wish we got more, because again, at the ending of book 2, that's one of the best character moments in this trilogy. It's Breeze seeing, I believe it's Dachshund, dying right in front of him and just being absolutely fucking shell-shocked. The dude with the wit and the quick mouth is stunned silent. That is excellent character work. But I think at the end of the day, we kind of skimp out on his arc. And I don't think that's fair to him. Are there any other major gripes I could think of off the top of my head right now before we get into the awards? Oh, this isn't really a gripe. This is just me being upset with myself. I was so fucking close to being right, guys. I was so close because I was like, this earring has to be important. What if it's protecting, her from ruin? It was the other fucking way around. I was like, oh man, I was so close. I was so close. Oh man. And then don't even get me started on that ending, bro. I was so shell shocked. I was just like, holy shit. Like, we're fucking dead, 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 dead. What? Holy shit. All right, fellas. It's time we got into the fun part. I love these parts of my videos. Honestly, damn near as much as doing the recordings and actually getting to read it, because this is just fun for me. The book awards for the Hero of Ages. Who are our candidates for these major awards? The MVP. We've got some nominees. Vin is obviously going to have to be in here. Spook is up here. First time on the ballot, but made a strong case. We have Tensoon, who we will talk about sooner or later. Or we have Sazed, or Sazed, the Hero of Ages himself. And the committee, we deliberated quite hard on this. Unfortunately, Vin, this was not your book. I don't make the rules. Well, actually, I do. This is my channel, but it is what it is. I'm sorry, girl. I wish. I would have loved to, but I can't. In their first time on the ballot, Spook is your MVP for the final book of the Mistborn trilogy. I think Spook's arc is excellent. I think the arc of a character wanting to achieve greater for others can be a really fucking incredible arc. I also think it could be done very poorly, and then the character could come off very bratty / like dumb. But I don't think Spook's that way in this book. I think you see Spook, because it's been like 3 years, I think they say, or 2.5 over the course of this trilogy. Well, it's gotta be like 4 actually, because like there's that first gap year in the beginning, but neither here nor there. I think that Spook is just so great in this book, and seeing how he is Kelsey or Kelsey or whatever, but done with compassion and true love, regardless of the background, I think is excellent work from Sanderson. And I think for him to be able to really pull this off of, the little page time is incredible. Now, Rookie of the Year for this book is going to be difficult because there isn't really any new characters in this novel at all. So we are not having a Rookie of the Year race. But we do have the MIP. Okay? The most improved character. And obviously Spook technically should win this category. But we here at the committee like to have some fucking fun. Okay? Tensoon is fucking MIP. He's 6-man too, by the way. I ain't even wasting time on it. Every time that brother Spook or Tensoon was on shit, showing up, locked in. He just gets it, bro. I don't know. And this is going to sound so weird because there was a lot of sad stuff at the end, right? Like Vince basically giving up her life once Ellen dies, or, Ellen's death in general. A lot of our cast dying off. But for me, it was Tensoon never really getting to see Vin again. That's what destroyed me. Like, that shit is so sad to me because Tensoon was moving heaven and earth to get the world ready for the Hero of Ages, and he thought it was Vin, but it wasn't. And I think all of that was, honest to God, just some of the best stuff in this book. Like, Tensoon's desires and pushes to make the world a better place in his own way while desperately trying to find his friend. It's one of the most powerful things in this book to me. And I don't know if it's really talked about enough, right? Everyone talks about the earring reveal. Everyone kind of talks about, obviously, like Vin and Ellen dying. But to me, man, it's Tensoon never really getting to see Vin and never getting that closure that hurts me the most. The momentum changer / when I was kind of just like, holy fuck, like, I reached a point where I'm messaging in the Discord and it's just word, like letters mashed together into a word in all caps, not all caps, just, I'm thrown off. And for me, it's the fight with Marsh. That fight with Marsh and the reveal with and Marsh having the will at the last second to remove the earring so that she can breathe in the mist and become preservation. So fucking good. That's so good. Like, dude, I got such a grin just thinking about it now. Like, that's just so fucking cool. And then something else I wanted to talk about. So, for a reminder of our awards, Spook is your MVP. Tensoon is your MIP, arguably your sixth man of the year, right? Your momentum changer is the fight with Marsh. But I also wanted to make a I hope you get done right award. Some of these books I think we're going to make up just complete awards that aren't in the NBA or football or whatever league I'm talking about. Similar to like Bill Simmons. The I hope you get done right award goes to Marsh. Because I'm going to be honest. I think Marsh's character was kind of dog shit for 90% of this trilogy. Because the first book, he's scarred. And, he had been the one putting up the fight for so long. And he just wore out. Right? And then Kelsier came in, took it over. And he was still he had trepidations, but whatever. We move. I think after that moment, like you come back to the Steel Inquisitor and everything, the character kind of falls off a cliff. Because you have to think about it in retrospect. Sorry, I was blanking on the right word. Marsh is literally in like 3% of the Well of Ascension. He's in the very beginning, and he's at the very fucking end. And then in this book, and I think part of it is Sanderson's writing. So let me be very transparent about that. Okay? I think Sanderson's writing with this character is probably the weakest. Well, let me not say that. Zane exists. But I think the whole, like, oh, he secretly, I think they talked about it actually in the prior books, but like his love of Mare and, like, oh, I failed her and Kelsier got her and the cause and this and my will for, it's just so like, I don't know. For, even if it's a basic arc, like, Sazed, I think, is technically a classical character arc with his struggle with religion and acceptance and, what happens when people die and, failures and all of that. I think that at the same time, there's so much more depth. And I hope in the movies, Marsh can have more. Because I feel like, as cool of a moment as it was for him to be like, no, I'm still like, I have the will to remove the earring and blah, 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 blah. It's just a cool moment, but I don't really feel that emotionally invested in that moment because I feel like Marsh's character is so shallow. And I think also the writing of like, because at times he was doing terrible shit and he was like, this shit's kind of cool. Like, this is fire. I'm murdering people. This is it. And other times like, I can't move and I feel terrible. And I'm just kind of like, I don't feel like Sanderson did a great job at distinguishing when Ruin was really in control of the mind and will of Marsh versus when Marsh was in control of that. I don't think it was very well done. So again, just to get over everything, I hope you get done right. Award has to go to Marsh. I hope that the movies drastically change him. The momentum changer is probably the fight with Marsh or the reveal about the rods. I think the rods and the idea that, you know, Ruin can and shift himself into these people. Awesome. Most improved, easily TenSoon. MVP is Spook. And, you know, TenSoon is probably our sixth man. I think I'm also going to make a video about the trilogy as a whole because I think there's some stuff I want to talk about. I think the plot of this book was really fucking good. And I think, you know, like, shout out to Carson because I know he's probably watching this far. I never even realized, like, the very first epigraph is Sayzed saying, unfortunately, I am the hero of ages. Like, and then the ending, too, of, like, Spook and them have to remake the society now. And, you know, the grass is green and you can see the sky. And that was so cool, too. The world building was another 5 out of 5 from Sanderson here. Like, the idea of, like, you know, how much the Rashek or Rachik, I don't know how to pronounce it, but his movement of the planet to the sun and how he still tried to help people and how he tried to keep his OG homies okay by making them these, like, beings. Guys, I really love this trilogy. I think beginning to end it was excellent. The second book is a little rough because of the Zane bullshit. But this was a extremely incredible conclusion to this world and arc for now. But let me know what you guys think. Do you agree with some of my critiques of the book? Because again, there's a lot of stuff that I love. Like, Elend is, again, my glorious king in this book. Does his part. Vin is still badass, and I still love her to death. Spook, my boy TenSoon. Breeze, you were a little disappointing, but that's because of Sanderson. You know, your coach wasn't putting you in the right way, playing you the right way in the game. But, like, Ruin was such a shithead. And I hated him so fucking much. God. This book was so good. I think the character work overall, like, if I ever went back and reread it or had someone else read it and have them talk to me about it, I think I would look back at these books so much more fondly because of how much the characters are different from the beginning to the end. The world building of this world is fucking incredible. Like, I think it's such a great, you know, twist of the typical fantasy tropes. While still embracing some. And I don't think that's always a problem. I think that this world is incredible. So let me know what you guys think down below. How much do you agree, disagree? And as always, guys, this is Hamster Knows Books. Don't forget to leave a like, comment, subscribe. Have a beautiful rest of your day, guys. Peace out.